Hi, I'm Paul Friedman. I'm the founder of the Marriage Foundation. The title is My Wife Gets Mad at Everything I Say. Now, at the Marriage Foundation, we're not like other people. We are not based in Western psychology. Our whole ambition is very practical. Your marriage, when it's properly functioning, should be filled with joy and love. It's that simple. Marriage is a particular, think of it as like a machine. It's supposed to produce something. And that's what it's supposed to produce, joy and love. Usually, like 99% of the time, if it is not, it's simply because you don't know how to be married. And it's not your fault because nobody really knows how to get married. I started out as a divorce mediator. And what happened was a couple asked me to help them fix their marriage, and it changed everything for me because I don't have that background, so I wasn't into how does that make you feel. So for this topic, again, my wife gets mad at everything that I say. So we could point the finger at her because likely she gets mad at things that you don't get mad at. But we're all different, right? So what's really important is for you, and try and get this concept as the concept that you're going to work with all the time. And the concept is that you chose to love her with all of your heart, mind, and soul. You even probably told her that in those words. And now that she's behaving in a way, and look at this just as I'm saying it, she's behaving in a way that is not satisfying you, you're thrown off. So she gets mad at everything you say. Two things. One, why should that affect how much you love her? And more importantly, how that love is expressed to her. How that love is expressed to her. You see, what everyone looks for is, well, how should I behave? How should I behave? You should behave not how, but from where. In other words, you don't use your mind to love. So you don't use your mind to come up with ways to love. Does that make sense? Here, let me give it a little more depth. We don't love with our minds. Our minds are tools, basically. They are supposed to do what we tell them to. Again, no one ever taught us this, but we're supposed to master our mind and have it serve our needs. Who is we? Our needs as a soul. We're souls. This is not a religious discussion. We're souls. We have a mind. We have a body. And the mind is doing its own thing because we have not chosen to master it. The best we get is we learn to control ourselves, but it's not ourselves. Ourselves doesn't need control. Ourselves is the soul, but the mind, which is tied to the body, and again, is a possession of ours, just like the mind is. So the mind and the body are communicating all the time, and guess what they're communicating about? One primary thing: survival. And so what happened, because why? Because the body, although intelligent, doesn't think. It's operating primarily on the plane of survival. If there's a threat, it runs or it fights. If there's an opportunity, such as for food or for oxygen or for sex, it operates to gain something from that opportunity, right? That's it. It's like the drive to survive, self-preservation. That's the whole body because it's comprised of trillions of individual cells, and each one of those cells That's all that it's living for, you might say. So we have this body, we have this mind, and because we're not maintaining a control over our mind, we just go along with it. Whatever thought we have, whatever feeling we have, we go along with it. And then we justify it. We go, well, I'm going along with how I feel. I really feel that way. But it's the mind. And it's turned you into a slave. And so you didn't get married to operate with your wife on the plane of the mind. You wanted to experience, you got married for happiness. You wanted to live your life on the plane, without thinking about it, on the plane of love and joy. And that's why we get married. And so what's happening is, when we run into these incidents in the world that trigger our minds, we get sucked into that plane of consciousness. And we lose sight of why we're married. So if your wife is mad at you, no matter what you say, and you're receiving it from the point of view as the mind, you're going to have resistance, you're going to have frustration, defensiveness, you're going to behave in ways that just make it worse. But if you're behaving from the heart, from the soul, your first inclination will be to wonder what's going on for her, because you're going to operate from a level of compassion. What can I do to ease her stress? Because if she's mad, obviously behind the action of mad, because you're not talking about her madness, you're talking about her action that is coming from anger. Well, what's causing that for her? So first thing, of course, is to not do anything that you know or you suspect may increase her defensiveness, which causes the anger. So your first thing is to eliminate the things that you know are going to inflame that anger. For sure, that should be done. So you're not going to be reactive. You're not going to be telling her what to do. You're not going to be instructing her or pointing out that she's angry. All those things simply will take her in the other direction, the opposite direction of, if you're expressing love, then you don't want her to go in that direction. You see, it's coming from a place of love. And what you do is you do that which will calm things for her as best you can. You'll try to ease her environment. You will try to support her as she herself starts to realize, I'm in such a bad place, I need to change it. You see? So this is, believe it or not, what I've just given you is a really simple answer. And it doesn't solve everything. What does solve everything is learning how to master your mind. You know, my friends who have known me for a long time, and they know that this is what I've been doing for over 20 years. They go, boy, Paul, you're doing such great work, and it's wonderful, and I understand why you have a lot of subscribers, and by the way, you should subscribe to this channel too. But I say, do you know what I'm really doing? And yeah, you're saving marriages. Yeah. The courses are for people who really need to save their marriage, and the books I've written are great. But I'll tell you what I'm really doing. I'm bringing into the world where it's welcome this notion of mastering your mind. It's like, why are we not taught that? Well, no one is. No one. No culture, no society teaches mastering the mind. Little aspects of it, and for different reasons, but overall, we're not taught we should learn how to master our minds. And when we do learn that, it's going to change the world. just mastering your mind. And then you go, well, why should I master my mind? It's not my mind that's bothering me, it's other people. Well, no. What other people say and do is a catalyst for the triggers in your mind. And when you've mastered your mind, you're no longer going to be impacted by others' words, points of view, actions. You take a look at examples like Mahatma Gandhi. He was truly into mastering his own mind. Just one example. It's not the only example, but he's a great example because everyone knows who Mahatma Gandhi is. And while he was being assassinated, he was blessing the person who was gunning him down. Can you imagine having that much control over your mind? I know of a lot of examples. I'm not going to take up time in this video for that. But it's an amazingly important, overlooked thing that we all should do. And in marriage, it's an imperative. It's an imperative because you're marrying a whole different person from you, even just based on genetics, just based on the gender, just based on age differences, upbringing, so many differences. And ironically, and I don't think it's coincidence, we always manage to piss each other off. And we can't ask the other person to change just because it pisses us off. We have to learn how to not be pissed off. Mastering the mind always comes back to that. So I hope this video was useful and helpful. If so, like it. You may leave a comment if you wish. And by all means, subscribe. I'm Paul Friedman again. I founded the Marriage Foundation. And our approach is so different. And, you know, we're starting to seek people who want to learn the TMF, the Marriage Foundation, way of counseling people in need. So we're creating a course that's going to be online so that if you choose, you could be a TMF marriage counselor. Very, very different from traditional marriage counselors, who I don't think are marriage counselors. In fact, they even call themselves marriage therapists. I don't think that even makes sense. And so we're going to be training, so look out for that. And if you want to join us, it's going to be amazing. We're going to have cooperative advertising and really change the world. I know a lot of people say that. I get to also. So thank you for joining. My name is Paul Friedman. I founded the Marriage Foundation. God bless you, and take care. Take care.